can do it better.
I'm just filling in until Drew gets here. Drew said he's running late, so you aren't stuck.
Drew was running to the winery and then the dispensary, and then he needed to get some hair stuff. Yeah, I had over 24 and a half for that first half. So I got a good number, and again, it didn't matter. I think the closer was 26 and a half at most places, or the worst of it was. So I bet this like Wednesday when I bet the total, and either way, it wasn't going to matter. Like 24 and a half wasn't get there in a field goal. Touchdown was going to get there either way. I did not announce. We will announce the winner tomorrow. We're going to give people a little more of a chance. If you want, you can subscribe and leave a comment on last Wednesday's show, and you're eligible to enter yourself in for a $100 Fanatics gift card. Tail of the tape in this one was Miami kind of got punched in the mouth. I kind of want to look at these rushing stats. I was joking on the Twitter machine, but I am not super sure that any of these teams should ever run the ball again. These defenses are geared up in the box right now. We have, Miami has run for -7 yards, Philly 46, and I think a lot of that was probably on the one, like there was one longer run from Swift. No, Swift, I guess, only had a 7-yarder for a long.
I feel like there was a scramble in there somewhere from Hurts.
He's been okay. Yeah, Hurts has run 5 times for 9, but a couple of those were tush pushes, which they don't get the credit for a 1 yard, or one attempt for 1 yard or 2 yards. They're very, very important, but they're not going to hit the stat sheet as such. But neither team's running the ball very well. Somebody already pointed out in the chat, Jalen Hurts looks a little stiff, a little hobbled. He doesn't look 100%. Waddle went to the locker room. He looked real bleeping ginger. Jeff Wilson Jr. kind of did a nice fill-in. I'm like, God, who's that? When he caught that ball on the sideline, who's 11? I couldn't remember who 11 was, but that was a nice catch by him. Nice answer late there by Tua and Mike McDaniel to put some more points on the board, get within a touchdown. I kind of went back and forth on this. The only thing keeping me from just betting Philly straight up in the second half is the fact that, we had a little bit of a wobble, a little hitch in his giddy-up from Hurts. Did you see that at all?
Yeah, it was right before he made the really good throw down to Julio on the goal line before the tush push touchdown. There was a scramble, and it looked like he had like an injured hamstring or something. And I was like, did he come in with did I just miss it? Because I was, I'm getting ready to do the show, whatever. And it looked weird, and he does not look very good. And yeah, I mean, to your point, you kind of mentioned it. We were talking off air. Like the only argument against just throwing the ball a ton here for both these teams in the second half is that Hurts looks banged up, and you don't want Tua taking hits, given his injury as well. So maybe you try to keep them off balance with the run game a little bit, but it hasn't been working well. But maybe all I can just say from an entertainment standpoint, that Dolphins touchdown was really good because we know the Eagles will try to bleed the clock with a double-digit lead in the second half. And how about that? Gerald Jones crushing it, 10-0 against the spread today. Not too shabby.
I think it's one of those pools, those ATS pools. Those are the ones where when you have a 10-0 day, you're like, why didn't I parlay all those together? Because because you do it once every 3 years, and
exactly,
it never happens.
There's Drew.
Yeah, we'll get Drew's opinion on the half here.
It's all good. See everybody. I'm going to be backstage.
Thanks, Dan.
Did Dan talk you into Dolphins? This is probably the right one.
I was actually it was plus 130 on the opener for Eagles money line. I wanted that because with Waddle out and the way the Eagles have actually been able to, move the ball through multiple ways. I mean, Miami cannot run at all. But
one-dimensional, yeah.
But they might just be able to do it through the pass anyway. I'm not super sure what the move is here. The total's pretty much sitting pat. It's taken a little steam to the under 26. A little bit of Philly money has come in, but otherwise the halftime market isn't moving a ton. I don't know.
No opinion on the total.
We're both invested in this game too. You have some
Yeah.
Eagles. I have some over. I was a little lucky to get my first half over home. I was happy that happened with Hill late, obviously, but I don't know. I'm going to let you kind of guide it here because I think the
okay.
total's
Well, I
right.
guess here's
Total's
the case
right where it
taking.
needs to be.
Here's the case we're taking the Dolphins. The Dolphins get the ball first. It feels like every time Tua is in a clean pocket that he could hit a home run on any given play.
Yeah.
Because Tyreek Hill is that much faster than the next fastest human on the field.
Did you see him just moving like those other guys were in slow-mo? It was crazy.
Watching it live, you see, like basically now watching this game, like I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3 seconds for Tua. Okay, he's gonna hit Tyreek Hill on a 50-yard bomb. Then, like that's kind of my expectation right now. Is if the pass rush isn't getting home, then blood. You're right that they're one-dimensional, but that might not matter a ton. And I think ultimately the fact that is 1-0 right now in turnovers in favor of Miami, but the penalties, my goodness gracious. Did you already bring this up? 6 for 45 for the Dolphins. The Eagles have yet to commit a penalty. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive game. I don't think the Dolphins are going away easy. They took the early best shot that the Eagles had, and the drive they put together to answer there right before the half, I thought was pretty solid sign from them. 8-play, 72-yard drive.
Game plan going forward, right? Just
yeah,
they didn't run much. They hit some nice outside stuff, but then they also have the quick hitter, the home run play. Like you should be throwing 5 more balls like that. And catch 2 of them. That's kind of the game plan. Get 14, 17 points here, and you're good.
Yeah. I kind of want to. I have Philly at 2.5, 101. So I'm way ahead of the move to 3 after they got healthy. I kind of want to shoot for the middle here because I think Philly winning by 3 is not crazy, and I think Philly losing is not crazy.
What about the Dolphins team total over 13.5? Then that's your middle. I think
that works. That works for me.
Let's play a little. It's a little juicy in a couple places.
That works for me.
But they get the ball first.
That helps me shoot for a middle. It's in line with what I think you're going to get anyway to get your over home.
Yeah, I want it. I'm over 13.5. It's like minus 125, minus 130. I'm willing to pay that for this. They do start with the ball. There's not a lot of coaches who would say, let's just throw the ball 40 times in the second half if we have to.
I guess I
think we might have one who will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
If he's like, fuck, we're going to do whatever works to win.
Did you see how fast that guy was running to the tunnel? You're definitely going to throw. No, but I will say this, that there is maybe one thing that's maybe not working in Dolphins' favor here, and that is they have lost time of possession so far, 2-1. So their defense has spent a good amount of time on the field.
They need to score. This first drive is so massive for them.
That's kind of, we're basically betting next score Dolphins touchdown. Yes. Because if that doesn't happen, then Eagles could probably wipe the rest of the game out with just 2 drives and it's over, right? I mean, like, there's a world where the Eagles stop the Dolphins, take 10 minutes off the clock, score a touchdown or a field goal, and then Dolphins have to go for it on some 4th down. Philly stops them again. They eat another 10 minutes of clock, and we're in bed early. Like, that's definitely a possibility. But I like where we picked because, basically we're still very much in the world where Dolphins scoring correlated to Dolphins covering, correlated to the over going, hitting. Like all of that, I think is still very, very correct. It feels like the Dolphins have kind of absorbed the best of, the home field advantage here too. They've gotten to Hurts a couple times. Hurts has gotten sacked a couple times, right?
Lester Cotton does suck. These are, and a couple people have pointed out the hat. These are just the best stocking hats there are.
Carhartt.
They're like $20 and they last forever. Just forever. I've had this for a few years. Still feels like it's brand new. Get it at the Fleet Farm, guys. You got to go to Fleet Farm. Fangio. Second half adjustments. First off, what would be your second half adjustment? Like, you can't sell out stack boxes to limit the run because they're going to try to run if they do have a lead. Because these receivers have been getting open on your secondary. Both of these secondaries have like a little bit of weakness back there at times. There's some gaps in these zones. The receivers that have caught passes, a lot of it has been wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do some run blitzing?
Yes.
Like you run blitz and then you try to put pressure on, you try to put pressure on him with 4. You bring blitzes when necessary. Maybe you do some sellout shit on third downs, third and longs. I don't know. I feel like Fangio will come out with a decent enough plan and we get a competitive game. Money aside, I don't want to see Miami not look good here. The Eagles have a 7-minute field goal drive. Like, that's just not good ball. I know obviously you want to win your Eagles bet. That would be great. But I want the Finns to be even better. Get some negative yardage on some of these runs again. Keep doing that. Get him in third and long, put some pressure on Hurts because he still looks a little stiff.
Yeah. I think the book is out on him. If you can move him off his spot, then he's less accurate. He's less likely to do damage down the field. I think if you're the Eagles, the adjustments are pretty straightforward. Like, you need to start attacking middle of the field. I think you can get it there. I think in general, the Dolphins are giving you that. There should be probably 4 more targets to Dallas Goedert in this game. And I'd like to see some AJ Brown used in some slants. I'd like to, and if I'm Vic Fangio, I mean, you got what you got. I think you just need to get more out of Jalen Phillips. He's obviously having a decent night. He's popped the quarterback twice. He got the 1 sack that caused the fumble. Right
off the bat, Mostert right end. I hate you, Mike McDaniel. You lied to me. You lied to my face. Somebody asked about Oktoberfest. I know you've done some stuff. I have, as you've mentioned, I've sent plenty of pictures on the Twitter of like breakfasts I've got at the dive bar next to me.
Mm-hmm.
They put up a beer tent with like a polka band every night now.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, it is, if I walk out my front door, I'm not good at like measurements. Like, I could hit it with a baseball, but not a football. How far is that?
Okay, that's at least 90 feet.
Like, if I really lobbed a baseball, I could hit it with a baseball, but no way I could throw a football that far.
So we'll say probably 30 yards then, right?
30 yards.
You think you could throw a 30-yard football pass?
I could throw.
You could throw a 30-yard pass?
I think so.
Oh, that's impressive. I didn't know you had that kind of arm.
I feel like that's not that far, is it?
30 yards? That's pretty
90
far.
feet. That's only to first base.
Yeah, you can get a baseball there. Football's tougher.
I know. I feel like I could. I'm going to have to go out in the yard and do this. We don't have like a full size. I have kids, so all the footballs we have are like, Nerfs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to get a full size football. I don't have huge hands. Maybe 30 is a long way. I'm just thinking in like NFL. Yeah, if I get the one with the whistles and the tail, I could throw that.
Well, that's a different question. I was thinking regulation or at least college.
Honestly, I'd have to warm up too. I'd have the Deshaun thing. So I feel like I'm good. I'm good from 35.
Cool.
If I'm warmed up, I'm gonna need to. I'm like stretching now. Like I'm gonna do this. I don't have a football. Let's
there you go live.
Let's dive into this week. Let's dive into week 7 recap.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the deep dive, powered by BetSperts. Andy, great day today. Just
a good day.
I mean, from a betting standpoint, I don't think I could ask for anything more. I had one loser with the Linos. Our team total play, secret pod play lost. Otherwise, every bet I made was a winner today. Avoided the absolute landmine that was the Buffalo Bills in teaser land, and got a money line bet home on the Patriots somehow, which still feels like a fever dream. And we saw a 99th percentile outcome, which was almost 80 points in the Colts game. I don't think that I made this joke already, but 10,000 simulations, that happens once. I don't understand.
So we've had pretty good luck. I feel like what were we through to 7 weeks?
Yes.
Probably 5-2 on secret team total plays. We've had some really good ones. I know we've had like 4 unders that were just pretty easy. This one we didn't have to sweat. At least we didn't have to sweat. It was over in the first half. Do you want to start with that game? Should we just go out of order and talk about that game? Because this is one of the most befuddling games I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Watson gets knocked around early. They tell us on air immediately that he is past concussion protocol, but they're just keeping him out anyway. PJ Walker looks like absolute dog shit for big parts of the game.
Clearly the right decision.
At the same time, like Watson wasn't that much better. It hurt Watson. Watson is getting another MRI on Monday for that shoulder. I guess that still was bothering him, or he hit that when he was slammed down. It just through using it in game, it got worse somehow. So I don't know what the future of this freaking team is right now. They lost some other pieces, and a Ford got dinged up during the game, and somehow they still win this game. Indy covers pretty much all the numbers, which is interesting. But yeah, really, really, like you said, super, super tail. Long tail kind of performance there from everything, and truthfully, like it was a lot of the turnovers. A lot of those turnovers and short fields and weirdness. I feel like we could go drive by drive on this, just go through it and be like, I don't know what happened here, because this is a Cleveland team that looked like the best defense we've ever seen against the 49ers. I know it was a road game and it was on the fast track, but it's not like you were playing a good offense that's looked good. Like Minshew has been just okay, and he's turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah. So my 5 takeaways. What in the world happened internally with the Browns' decision making to start Watson in the first place? We all saw the practice tape this week. The clips, the selected clips they decided to share on social media. He didn't look right. He didn't look right at all. He didn't look right in the game. The fact that you kind of didn't get PJ Walker completely ready for this start in the first place was almost organizational malpractice. You're lucky to win anyway. Gardner Minshew is terrible. And your Browns, your past defense is now beatable. I think it's pretty clear Myles Garrett moves up into favorite status for Defensive Player of the Year. That was an ungodly performance, or that was a godlike performance from him. And I think ultimately this is not a good. It's a one-dimensional team now that can be beat on defense. They were lucky to get the win, and maybe that matters. But if this team is, this Browns team is. They look like a bet against.
Right now, if the playoffs started, they would be like your 6th seed. That's probably
10
not
point dogs on the road against it. I don't care who.
It's probably not something that's going to hold. And good point too with Garrett being, Watt had some nice plays, but Garrett had a really big game. He should jump up in the odds.
Yeah. Team like the Dolphins will nuke that Browns defense. Nuke them.
That jump. Where it's a penalty if you don't clear him, but the fact that he cleared him,
he did it. Yeah.
The fact that he did it, like that's such a massive play. That was so cool.
Wild.
He's just a freak athlete. 99 percentile athletes for sure. Yeah. In the notes, it was just like, and you know what? Cleveland was outgained by like 100 some yards, but 4-2 on the turnovers. It's not a good win for Cleveland, but a win is a win in the NFL. You take it anyway. And still the weirdest part was holding Watson out. It just indicates that he said, my shoulder's not good enough to go back in. I don't care if I cleared protocol.
I don't expect him this week. And I think it's pretty clear that Seattle's going to go from 2.5 to 3. If you haven't already gotten some Seahawks, then, you're going to be staring at 3 tomorrow morning. The Thursday Night Football comment real quick. Jags, a win is a win. It was ugly. They won. It's pretty clear that the Saints are kind of now coming into focus, and I feel stupid for not picking. And the Jags are too, actually. The Jags with the lead those games are just going to blow up points. Points. Like Jags defense is not, they go into very, very soft mode real quick with the lead. And their offense continues to answer when they're playing, in comeback mode, or not in comeback mode, but in protect the lead mode. Also a lot of scoring points when they could, take knees and then milk clock and not even give the other team the ball back. Like there's still, that's happened now a couple of times. And Saints, to me, they are a clear over team if they are playing from behind, and a clear under team if they are playing with the lead.
Yeah, some more struggles I should find. That was a few days ago, but where do we have it? NFC South. It was weird. The market all week, like tracking that market, and then Lawrence just comes in and he's fine. Carr wasn't that bad. He just didn't make the big plays. They had the tying touchdown.
Well, their offense was super vanilla trash until they absolutely had to be aggressive.
Yeah,
and as soon as they decided to be aggressive, they were amazing.
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. Still going 3 for 18 on third down doesn't get it done a lot. So gonna have to be better than that on third.
Yeah. Okay.
I loved both
Atlanta
teams, and I had the under, so I didn't love it, but I loved that both teams were pretty aggressive on fourth down in spots that a lot of coaches wouldn't.
It's starting to go around. Like you saw a lot of that.
It's catching. It's catching.
Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, that was a game, huh?
This was close. This was another really close wrong result, but ultimately Atlanta gets there.
Yeah, Baker. I was talking to producer Dan before you got on. Baker had like 2 or 3 really good plays, and then everything in between was kind of dog shit. He was kind of rough for big chunks of the game. The Bijan stuff was weird. They didn't ever say like illness. They just said he wasn't himself. He wasn't 100% right. So they just didn't. The fantasy people are so mad about that. They get very mad about that sort of thing, but that sort of thing, I guess, does happen. This was another one too, where it was bouncing around. The Tampa money drove it up again. The late money on Tampa drove it to 3.
Yeah,
maybe should have won. Probably should have pushed at least. But
yeah,
Tampa. It's weird. There's a weirdness to this game because I'm saying that, but at the same time, in the game, I felt like Tampa was very lucky to be in it at all with the turnovers in the red zone by the Falcons. But it's just something you get from the Falcons, I guess.
The Falcons kept them in the game, no question. There were 700 plus yards in this game, and yet over 37 didn't cash. I mean, another how are these games staying under type of box score here. Ritter was like, if you had a Falcons bet, and I did, so there was Tampa money that showed up today. I bet the Falcons because I was like, all right, fine. At this price, I'm in, and I bet the money line, and I was pretty sure that they were going to lose. I was pretty sure they were going to lose, and Baker Mayfield did some solids on that last drive of keeping the Bucs from winning that game outright with the touchdown late. And I think ultimately this was I don't know, right result in the end for the Falcons to win. Bad beat if you had the over, and God damn it, the NFC South winner is going to be so bad. The NFC South winner is going to be a touchdown plus dog at home in the playoffs.
I've been calling for an 8-9 winner. I might be high by a game.
Hey, what was last year? What were the Bucs last year? 7-10?
I think they were 8-9. I think everybody else in the division was like 7.
Was 7-10. You're right. They were 8-9. Real 7-10.
I think we do see an 8-9 just because the thing is, like, none of these teams have very tough schedules. There's so many coin flips. They're going to win half their coin flips. If somebody's going to have 8 or 9 wins, it's going to come down to some tiebreakers. There's probably going to be a couple teams tied for it. We'll burn that bridge when we get to there. What's the next game?
I like that. Vegas, Chicago. We get quarterback controversy in Chicago, Andy?
So he wasn't great, but it was like the perfect, hey, just take what they give you because this isn't a very good defense. Don't do anything stupid. Take advantage of your 2 or 3 playmakers and don't do anything stupid. And, rely on your defense a little. Is starting to get a touch healthier.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson was held out. That wasn't great. That was part of the reason I did bet this over. Got some late steam to the over. Not so sure it was the right side. Although with the yardage that we saw from the Raiders, they probably should have had some points earlier in the game. They have been truly atrocious in the red zone. And I know we've said that of a lot of teams, but I think they were like 1 for 6 versus the Patriots. And it's been bad again. So if you're not going to score in the red zone, you're certainly not going to beat, good teams. And you can even lose to marginal to bad teams on the road like this.
Mm-hmm.
Badgett was fine. The defense was good. They got a pick 6, and I got an over, I guess. I was happy.
I didn't watch any of this game, I'll be honest. Congratulations to Badgett.
I watched a little. It wasn't great.
I will tell you this, though. My favorite tweet of the day was in response to this game, and it was by Mr. Greg Rosenthal of the NFL Network. Even if the Raiders lose, these are valuable reps in Hoyer's development. Perfect.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? What is the vision in Las Vegas? What are they doing? Like,
AOC took it over.
AOC ended up coming in, but you were better off just prepping him and getting him into this game and seeing what you got there.
They lied to us.
They lied.
There was reports. There was reports from Raiders insiders, Raiders beat people that said it was going to be, it's going to be AOC when they had time to prep, but Hoyer comes in if they have to pull Jimmy. Jimmy might be back here sooner than later as it is, so we'll find out. But this team still needs better play calling to win.
Yeah, I think ultimately, in fact, maybe squeaky wheel Devontae Adams might have influenced the Raiders' decision-making on this. They were like, we got to have Hoyer because he's a more effective. He's a more effective quarterback. He gives us a better chance to win this game, and that's obviously what we need because that's what Devontae's saying. I don't know. Mess of a game. Bears, the kind of absolute worst case scenario for the Bears is that Tyson Badgett is not the long-term answer, but he wins enough games to take them out of good draft position while you also don't get to see and evaluate Justin Fields. And there are healthy whiffs of that in the air right now, I have to tell you.
Winning 6 games, not ideal for this Bears team right now. You're not making the NFC playoffs, guys.
No,
you don't want to make the playoffs. You want to kind of lose.
Call me crazy. I don't think Tyson Badgett is the next Brock Purdy.
He might be. We've seen D2 quarterbacks do it. We've got elite Joe Flacco.
Actually, I don't know. I learned something today, Andy.
What?
They have a D2 Heisman?
Oh, yeah.
Did they give it? Is that the same award ceremony? They just do it before?
No.
And it's not part of the broadcast?
The D2 difference are completely different.
Is it called the D2 Heisman?
No, it has a different name.
Oh, okay. It's just colloquially referred
Harlan
to
Hill.
as the D2
It's called the Harlan
Heisman.
Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, he is the Harlan Hill Award winner. He was very good at D2, but I know people who were D2 baseball players. They're not going to go up and hit a fastball at the major leagues, guys.
Okay. Massive loss for me on Detroit today. That was a bad call. Baltimore was the right side from Jump Street. Baltimore showed the Detroit Lions, gave them the business in the trenches on both sides. That was a surprise. If the Ravens defensive line and offensive line are going to consistently win in any given game, then the Ravens are going to win. And I think you have to start taking them pretty seriously, even though everyone else in the AFC North won today. I still think, the Ravens have not played their best offense that they will play this season, right? They're growing and they're getting better. I think that's kind of important to keep perspective on.
Lamar was super efficient. He did it with his legs. He did it with his arms, mostly the one arm, the arm he throws with. That was the important one. He just looked really good. They scored on their first 4 drives. They're all touchdowns. They were effective in the red zone. All the issues that we had, every game felt like it was heading into this, it was like every game was one of the 7 deadly sins, drops, red zone inefficiency, play calling. Every game had it. Lamar just doesn't get it yet. Everyone had and then all of it came together. They didn't do any of the bad things that they've been doing in even the games they won. It was hey, this was kind of rough, or they weren't that great in the red zone. They were coming off an international trip back, and I know it's not that far to the East Coast, but still they weren't in the best spot, and they looked so good in the first half. I'm worried this offense is continue to get more fun. This was such a stay away game for me. I looked at both sides, and I made seriously good cases to bet both sides, and I made good cases to stay away from both sides. I'm like, oh man, I'm just gonna watch this game, aren't I? This is so tough. And if I would have bet it, I probably would have taken the points. So God bless me for staying away because that was just a gut punch. The Lions just. Do you have an explanation for why they look so blah? I mean, the offense just didn't look very good either.
No, this was
outdoors for Goff is like
second week in a row at traveling. I don't know. I mean, they no showed. Teams have -2, -3 Z-score performances, even if they're good. Like you just have bad days, and this was a bad day for them.
Should still give credit to the Baltimore defense. Like there were some guys playing out. Their core.
Roquan Smith is
Very
kind
good.
of quietly not talked about among the best defensive players in the league, but he's a monster. He clearly is. I don't know what else to tell you. He had an absurd defensive, he had an absurd defensive sequence on the only drive. It looked like the Lions might score points in the first half where it looked like he picked it in the end, but it didn't matter because it was 4th down anyway in the end zone. But anyway, he was amazing today. And they did it without Marcus Williams, which I was worried the Ravens defense wasn't going to be able to do. They're good. They're good. They're a good team. I'm done fading the Ravens for a little while.
I had a bet on them a few weeks ago to win the division. And like you said, Cleveland won, Pittsburgh won. I'm not terribly worried about those teams right now from what we saw.
Yeah. Okay. I'm throwing that out for the Lions. I don't think it really tells you much. Although they have gotten a lot of wins in the last 20 games they've played against bad teams. And not a lot of wins against good teams. Whoa, was that a fumble through the end zone? Please tell me it's not. Oh no, I think that is that how that plays out.
We'll find out.
Oh boy, I think they're saying incomplete. They're calling it incomplete. That was lucky. All right, I don't know why why do I care? Their 3 points doesn't help us anyway. Fuck. All right,
need touchdowns, guys. Need touchdowns.
No more thoughts on Detroit, Baltimore. Victory lap, some New England Patriots. Nobody believed me. No one believed in me, Andy. The New England Patriots not only covered an 8.5-point spread, they got bet on game day, meaning it was the right side in the minds of the market makers. And they covered wire to wire. There was a decent chance they were going to lose the game, but there was no realistic chance that they were going to they might as well have just fumbled through the end. Never.
Yeah, it was 4th down.
I didn't know they were going for it. I didn't think they were going to go for it on 4th down. They did. And they ran a cockamamie play, and they did not get a call. All right. The
cockamamie, not a lot of these.
My
only takeaway here
they really deserved a call.
Do you remember my take?
You got face masked. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So remember my take was I agreed with you on 8.5 was too much, but I said I'm still going to tease it.
No, yeah, sure.
Because I said I can't make a case to I just don't like this team. My numbers haven't adjusted that much on Buffalo. I think what we're going to do is probably have to really downgrade what we saw on offense or on defense. It mattered, especially on that last drive. They got no pass rush. They got no pass rush on that last drive. They would have covered the teasers for sure. We could have covered those teasers, but we got no pass rush on the last drive. The defense was bad at all 3 levels. If you make Mac Jones look good, your defense needs a downgrade. My number is too high on Buffalo right now. I need to downgrade this defense considerably.
Yes, we agree. Washington Giants. Didn't watch that game. Doesn't matter. Giants are finally maybe out of our lives in terms of talking about the playoff picture.
They won.
I meant the Commanders. My bad.
Commanders. Okay.
the Giants are already out of our lives, but the Giants Commanders, I think, are
the Giants are 2-5. I don't think they're in playoff mode either. But this was another one too, where it was there was 600 yards offense here. There was some, I thought there was more. There was only the 3 turnovers. They were kind of at inopportune times. Really, only takeaway is I got to give a lot of credit to the Giants defense, which really stepped up in some key moments and looked pretty good. Other than that, Howell, Howell got sacked 6 times. I guess I should give them credit for that, but it's like when your buddy's like, "Oh, I hooked up with this girl." It's like, yeah, the whole 11th grade has, man. That's not a cop. You sacked Sam Howell 6 times. Yeah, it's because he's easy. Like everybody has. He's on pace for like 100 sacks. True, that's so bad. He holds on the ball so long, and they do have some guys that can get home up front. But the late game stop was massive. They needed that, and
we got ourselves a little ball don't lie situation. Yeah,
we do have a ball don't lie situation. That's fun. So not a lot of takeaways. The Commanders are very hard for me to get involved in games with them because when Sam Howell has a little bit of time, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, but he needs the full inch. You give him 3/4, he's on his back. Like just too many sacks, too many bad plays, and they have good players in this team. They have a good running back. They have a couple good receivers. It's a very hard team. I have to have a very strong angle before I'm getting in on a Commander's side. It was a good teaser leg in the Giants for anyone who used that. Kind of same as a couple of the those 2.5 point dogs are just no doubters lately for some reason. Like a lot of them are just winning, and not only winning, but like leading the whole game. I mean, the Falcons were kind of a nice one. The Bears was a teaser like a lot of people used.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those, for some reason, all these 2.5 point dogs are just winning outright and not making you sweat it. Moving on.
Okay. Arizona, Seattle. Seattle covers all teaser legs. It was not as close. It was not as comfortable a win as it felt like in final score, I think. If you laid Seattle, you were probably sweating pretty good here. There was meaningful Seattle money late in the week in the cycle. Pushed this one out to 9 into the close. There was also no ever real threat of this going over the total. Got bet under consistently all week, and I think that was pretty clearly right. Seattle's defense is good. Seattle's offense is inconsistent, particularly without DK Metcalf. That's about all I have to say. Great teaser leg, though.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weird that good teaser leg. That was everybody's favorite teaser leg. Every teaser in the world had this involved, and it got a little sweaty. Gino, my notes on this one. I want to read my notes here. NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle turned the ball over 3 times, was 1 for 3 in the red zone.
Yeah.
Seattle. So Seattle turned the ball over 3 times, was 1 for 3 in the red zone, and still covered every number. Game was pretty even in a lot of metrics, but the Cards were 0 for 3 on 4th down, which is what tanking's teams aspire to. And then at the end, I wrote, and actually, so the defense for Seattle looked a lot better as the game went on. Kind of seeing that with Arizona as the opponent. That kind of happens to every defense, but I do want to give them some credit. They tightened some things up. And then my last note was Gino is Jameis.
Yes. Yes.
That's kind of my takeaway. Like he can make good plays, but it gets squirrely when he's out there now.
Yeah. Mike Durso sent the major kind of note. AZ second half fades in full effect. I mean, I don't think there's a better second half bet than betting on the Packers and against the Cardinals.
It was close. It was -4 in the second half, and Seattle just did not want to punch one in as much as they could. There were some weird late results, but it did get home.
Yeah. Okay. Pittsburgh won again. Black magic for Mr. Mike Tomlin. I mean, I think they were the right side ultimately. The way they played in the second half was pretty inspired.
The offense looked good. That's the best I've seen them look since like the preseason, Drew.
Yeah, they did look good. The Rams
they saved it for way late. Like going into the fourth quarter, Pickett had like 100 yards, man. He was not looking great.
No.
And then they just kicked it into gear somehow. They had the refs kind of help them out. I mentioned this in a tweet reply, but when that spot was so shitty, I'm like, oh, they'll challenge that. And then out loud, I'm like, oh my God, they don't have timeouts. And I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh no, like that's not even. And I'm like, can they do expedited? I don't think it merits expedited because it's not like I think that's only for incompletions, turnovers, touchdowns. I don't think they do expedited on spots. So woof. Like the Rams probably should have got one more shot. Yeah, I had the under. And after there was like 30 seconds left in the first half, it was 3-3, and they threw a 30-yard touchdown to 2-2. Annoyed, but still had under 44 with only 12 in the first half. So it wasn't too bad. And then immediate turnover, great interception by TJ Watt, touchdown, touchdown. Very nervy second half for a guy with the under. That got a lot closer than I needed to be. So the fact that they were able to kneel that out was very nice to me.
Yeah. The fact that the Steelers one was nice to me. Tomlin, coach of the year, he's in the race. He's there. He's a factor. I don't know what to tell you. As long as they keep winning, I don't think it'll keep happening, but it might. Interesting game where they're small dogs against the Jags coming up this week. I don't have anything else to say.
That's a game I'm not betting.
There was some aggressive play calling finally in the second half by Matt Canada. Maybe he's turning the page a little bit. Steelers did come out with some.
What do you think of the
different
Rams
looks.
play calling?
Wasn't really that impressed.
They ran the ball a lot with Royce Freeman getting 12 carries. Daryl Henderson had
30 carries between Freeman and Henderson was weird.
It seems like a lot of running for a team where it's like down to your fifth back or whatever.
Yeah.
I would have, because Stafford looked good for the most part. Puka looked great. Kupp looked great. Tutu is even a factor. Like, throw the ball more. This is a defense that you can throw the ball against. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, moving on.
All right. Kansas City won and covered. Widowmaker spot comes through yet again. The Chargers, I guess the Chargers were plucky for the first half of the game, but then I don't think they scored in the second half. Is that correct?
The second half was a totals nightmare. So this opened.
Oh man. Oh wow.
So this opened in certain spots at a number that was like 48.5. The total was 52 on the look ahead. It opened at like 48.5. Because of some of the things that happened in the market there, and the fact that I guess I'm not super sure what Kansas City did to see a drop off like that. And those soft look aheads sometimes are, if they're taking money too, it'll drop when it opens. But it dropped down to 47.5 a couple times during the week, including Saturday, and it closed 48.5. And it wasn't a big middle, but it found it. It landed on 48. There was 41 points in the first half of this game. Live total, somebody told me on Twitter, was up to 68. The first two drives of the second half each reached the red zone before turning the ball over. There would only be one touchdown late in the fourth quarter by the Chiefs, and that was it.
Yeah.
The second half total was, whatever, not even close. The Chargers were, I think they were like half-point dogs in the second half that probably deserved better fate.
Yeah.
And Herbert threw some bad picks. Like he was at fault in the second half.
Yeah. He was just generally inefficient. And Mahomes was not. Mahomes had over 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 12 catches for 180 yards. You would think a team with familiarity game planning against the Chiefs would have, I don't know, some more of an answer against Travis Kelce, but I guess not. You just want to live and die that way. That's fine. I thought,
we say that, but it happens to everybody, Drew. Like, he's just open.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very good player. He's a very good player.
They break structure, and he comes back to it. He always finds a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes had 300 yards at the half.
Who's stopping Mahomes MVP? Who's stopping Chiefs 1 seed at this point? Any thoughts?
I have a conspiracy theory. Goodell has a sit down with all the voters and makes them vote for Kelce for bringing in the female viewership. Kelce wins unanimous MVP. That's the only thing I can see to keep Mahomes from it. Interesting.
Yeah, somebody what do you call it? Collateral damage from your own teammate. Yeah.
Honestly, Kelce is probably more deserving than some of the if you go like 3 or 4 quarterbacks down, Kelsey's probably more deserving of those guys.
Dude, Mahomes had a day, man. Oof.
He really was good. A couple of really big scrambles too.
By the way, like
awesome,
unstoppable play. Right now, the more I'm not sure which is a more unstoppable play: Travis Kelce freestyling 20 yards down the field, or Mahomes running amok scrambling. But Mahomes generated how much EPA today? 23 EPA total today for that young man.
That's more than a few teams. That's more than that's more than the NFC East scored.
Yeah, incredible. So very cool, very cool. Mahomes MVP position. I could not be happier. I honestly don't think there's much of a sweat there. Green Bay, Denver,
under 200 for his price now. Green Bay, Denver. You had Denver
was a buy low.
until it wasn't. Honestly, no, it
No,
was.
it
I want to give them all the credit. It was 100% Denver's offense and play calling that left. Like they were moving the ball much better than Green Bay. They were not capitalizing the way they should have. That's their MO. I said this to you in the chat. I said, I agree that you were right and Denver was the right side, but there's no excuse to ever bet on Denver. Like just because their offense is not going to put games away, and they let a team with a pretty rough offense back into it. Granted, Green Bay was pretty lucky on that one touchdown. Like that was a deflection.
It was a fourth down too, right? Wasn't that a fourth down? I think that was a fourth. Sure. It was like a 4th and 2 that play. I'm pretty sure. Oh wow, Swift just broke you guys' ankles. All right, the Green Bay Packers can't game plan a first half at all.
I mean, it was a short week for them.
What? I don't understand why they can only play from behind. But that's apparently what they do. I guess if you, file it away into betting against the Cardinals in the second half, betting against the Packers in the first half of a game seems like an auto win. I think the Packers are undefeated also in second halves. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure they are 6-0 so far in their second halves against the spread. I don't know why Jordan Love can only play from a deficit, but whatever. It was a big move on this one in the market to Denver after Aaron Jones was announced that he was going to play, which I don't get.
It was the same as Seattle. Like, why are we moving on the DK news? I don't know if there's that many people that were just pumped for Bobo.
Right.
Aaron Jones matters. And
he's very, very good.
Man, that was my stream is behind yours.
Okay. The middle of the field is just wide open for these guys. The Eagles should score into the 30s tonight. We'll see if that actually happens in the fourth quarter. Anyway,
Is that everything?
That was everything. And I mean, I this result, I have Philly. We need another touchdown from Miami. My week is not going to be decided one way or the other by this game or tomorrow night's game where I have the Vikings and the points. And 7 weeks into the season and still just sun running. I don't know what else to say. I feel very, very fortunate to be.
It's way more fun to win as the
my
Eagles
God!
score.
Oh my God, it is. Yeah, nice play. Nice play. Terrible, laughable tackling.
Got some little commercial break, and then we're done with games, right? We recapped everything.
We're good. We got it.
All right, some commercial break, and then we'll get to look at headlines because there's a couple I like.
There wasn't really any meaningful injuries today, right? No.
We'll touch on injury after commercials.
Right,
Ticketmaster. More memories are made when you're there for live NFL action, and when you need tickets, Ticketmaster got you covered, even when it's cold out now, guys. Bring your parka, bring your toque. It's the official NFL marketplace. Gives you more ways to find your perfect seat with their interactive seat map, the 360-degree previews, 365 sometimes. A lot of flexibility, too, if you need to sell or transfer your tickets. If you want to go see the voodoo that is Mike Tomlin in person, it is your best bet. Gets you in on game day. It's a breeze. You can even customize it with your team colors. I don't have a team, but maybe I'll be wearing this Kelly green. It's pretty tough. Like if I had to customize it, it would be that color. Tickets are available at ticketmaster.com/NFL. Also brought to you today by Rhythm, which is a new one. I haven't talked about Rhythm yet. It is an app that lets you build some models a little bit easier than some of the ways we've been going about things. So you input your instincts by telling the app what's most important about the game with some of the factors, a lot of factors. You take them, some of these house factors chosen by the team of data scientists. You take your preferences, the model takes them, brings in over 3 years of historical data, and trains your personalized models based on your inputs, and gives you basically what the edges would be going forward in the NFL, in the WNBA, in the MLB. It's been worked on by a team of PhDs, data scientists, and sports lovers.
Rhythm.
Backed by the original DraftKings investors. Check it out. Rhythm, RITH, in the App Store. Check it out. 14-day free trial. There'll be a link in the description.
You know what?
And yes, injury news.
NBA starts this week. It's not too late to build a model.
It is not too late.
And it's not too late to get
opener.
tickets to opening night for your team. The NBA is going to be fucking awesome this year. I cannot wait.
I don't love watching the NBA because the season's too long and I hate. It doesn't work out for me because I'm busy with other things.
Sure.
I love the playoffs. Once we get to the playoffs, I take in so much. But it is a much better
in-person experience. Oh my god,
than the NFL by a million. And I love going to baseball games. Baseball games are very relaxing. It's a really chill vibe.
Yep.
But as far as in-game experience, especially for the price, like the price to get as close as you can get at an NBA game is just so much more like what you spend.
You get what you paid for. Yeah, you get what you paid for.
Dan just popping in with a puppy. Dan got a puppy. Oh, no, I mean for $200 at a NBA game goes so much further than it does in an NFL one for sure. So, all right, injuries. Obviously, the biggest one is probably the Watson one because he is getting an MRI. Bears, Jaquan Brisker was banged up. They've had secondary issues. Detroit had some receivers. They brought in a new kickoff returner. He's having surgery on his hip, so that didn't go very well. The Packers had a lot of injuries. Wyatt on the DL, the safety Savage, the cornerback Stokes, and then Jaden Reed. Musgrave left the game apparently in a walking boot afterwards. We didn't know about that ankle. Was banged up.
Yeah.
Nick Bolton of our Kansas City Chiefs dislocated his wrist in the wind. Haven't got updates on that. The Gerald Everett injury was a quad for the Chargers. Need updates for that. Trent Brown was out for the Pats for a bit, but he did come back into the game. Going back to Thursday too, and I haven't got updates on this. Carr, that groin thing late. I don't know. I didn't get any updates on that.
I think he just got hit in the balls. Actually,
yeah, it might have just been a nut shot.
I think it was a nut shot because I thought when I saw it live that he pulled his groin. At least that's what he was like. That looked like that was what he was doing. But then he was so fine that I think it might have just been a. It might have been
the Commanders had a couple. Sadiq Charles, their left guard, went out with a calf injury in the third quarter, and I think it's their Mike linebacker, Cody Barton. He's an interior linebacker, at least. He left the game with an ankle injury. So some stuff to catch up on. I'll be looking into all that for next week. Look at headlines.
Benson with the serious question: where am I on fanny packs? Out on a fanny pack. If you're going to a live event, you get one of the little single sacks. Sack pack. Yeah, because you want your binos. You want your binos. You want your We're going to the Breeders' Cup. We're going to the track. You got to bring your binos. Yeah, I'll put those in my sack pack. Can't fit that in. Can't fit binos in the fanny.
I'm bringing the big binos. The tight little ones. I'm bringing like the old school huge ones.
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
The old Bushnells.
So whip around here on some of these openers. Tampa Buffalo is interesting. Tampa is a miserable scripted offense, one-dimensional team. I don't think they can take advantage of the Buffalo defense the way the Patriots could. Maybe they can. Yeah. We'll see. I think Buffalo can probably play from ahead and have a much more favorable outcome. But that said, not running to lay 8 there on a short week.
What do you think of that 42.5?
Over probably is a bet. Actually, over probably is a bet. Let's look at the weather. Let's look at the weather and then come back to that. New Orleans should be favored against Indianapolis, in my opinion. Jacksonville should be more of a favorite against Pittsburgh, in my opinion. Carolina should pick them against Houston, in my opinion. Right away, there's sides to be had right now, I think.
So I bet New Orleans. I don't understand this. I don't understand this price. I get that we saw a good game off them today, but unadjusted numbers, and I did actually move New Orleans a little because we had the early game. I still make New Orleans like a 1.2 point favorite here. I had to look if there was some weird situational thing. Not really. Nice indoor game for an indoor team. So New Orleans as a dog, obviously the money line's not really up. So I took the points.
I dig it. I'm there.
You should, one and a half at a cheap price, plus 1.5. So I agree with you there. What was the other one you'd said? I want to look
Right at the top, Jacksonville gets 10 days to prepare for a Pittsburgh team that's terrible. 1.5
I
is
have
bettable.
Jacksonville. I'm pretty close. I have Jacksonville by 2.
Okay. I need to break that game down more before I bet it. I just think that's,
What do you think? It's 40, 41, 41.5 for total.
I mean, for a Pittsburgh game, that's probably fair. I gotta refresh some of the Jacksonville injuries and what they're dealing with. I think obviously Trevor's fine, and they get 10 days.
Jesus.
The other, and the third game on the board is Houston, Carolina. I feel like that should be closer to a pick 'em. I think that getting 3 with Carolina there is pretty enticing. And actually, it's shaded away, like it's going to go to 3.5. You have a feeling one way or the other?
Yeah, I only make it because it is in Carolina. They're both off the bye. So both teams were on the bye this week, which I don't know how you want to deal with that. But I make it Houston by 2. So if there's a 3.5, I would begrudgingly take it.
You got a new play caller too.
Yeah, you got Thomas Brown coming with new play calls. Maybe we see something good. That would just kind of be a numbers play for sure. I would agree with that one. I also kind of like that over just based off some of the metrics and how both those teams can play from behind and in garbage time.
Is this an overs week? So far, it seems like
it might be an ugly over. It's a low total, man.
These are all low, yeah.
So that one was, I believe it was 42. I make it like 44. I might bet dogging over in that one.
Yeah, Dallas is laying a big fat price coming off of their bye at home against a Rams team that's spunky. I think that's Rams or pass. If that gets to 6, I'm going to think Rams.
How much more win how much do you add any win probability for coming off the bye? It's just so small.
It entirely depends on what your status was going into the bye and what your health benefits are coming out of it. Like if you're coming out with meaningful, players coming back. Waddle, by the way, back in the game, made a huge play there. If you're getting right coming out of your bye, that's intriguing to me. Like we're going to get there with Cincinnati. Actually, Cincinnati's going to be coming out of their bye, presumably getting right, which is interesting to me. Anyway,
not only that, but San Francisco will be off Monday Night Football.
Right, short week for them.
You're going to get
just a gross spot. Gross spot.
It's not a great spot, especially it sounds like Debo is not going to make that game. He's going to be out until at least the San Francisco bye, if not longer. I don't know that Trent's back. Sounds like Christian McCaffrey's going to give it a try, but that oblique injury didn't sound great. I wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of the snap count we've always thought he was going to get. Here's a fun one. How many points of home field are you giving the Giants this week? Do you just make that a 0?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you have to. I mean, we run into this once in a while, and I changed it to a 0. I'm like, well, I mean, this is where they always go. I suppose they have to use it. Do they? Here's a question, and maybe somebody would know this if they're a fan of one of the teams. Do the Jets and Giants each have a locker room at MetLife?
I think that's the way it is at Staples Center for the Clippers and those.
So I was going to say, how do I know that about the NBA, but I don't know it for the Giants?
Yeah,
I feel like it is. So it's not like you have to go to the shitty guest locker room, I don't think, with the cold showers and all that.
You might actually have to. I'm not sure how that works.
Right. If somebody has an answer on that, I'd love to hear it.
All right. Any of these other ones that are like fully open intrigue you? I have no opinion on Giants Jets. I have no opinion on Atlanta Tennessee. But wow, Atlanta's
Giants Jets
on the road.
It's funny.
I
made my numbers first, and I'm like, oh my god, I made that total 35.5, and I'm like, oh my god, am I betting it under there? And then you look and like, nope, it is. It's 36. Don't get it. I'm not gonna get it. That's unfortunate. Stinky to his back. We did you bet that? Did you bet Barry Horse's picks?
Yeah.
Picks. Okay.
Yeah, I like those.
Made a little money.
I can get like $250 on that stuff. So
you have to go to like multiple books.
Yeah, it's just for fun, but I like them. All right. Well, This was a sloppy drive by the Dolphins. It felt like they wanted the turnover to happen. They were
A lot of game
happen.
left, guys. A lot of game. The Dolphins defense about to step up.
Yeah. Slay only getting this back to 18, 16-yard line sucks for the over. Like this is now bad where the Eagles can really take like a good 9-minute chunk out of the game if they want to.
One last game I wanted to touch on is kind of the like, who is the future? Who is the young quarterback that is going to be the face of the NFL next? We have Chicago Chargers Sunday night. It looks like.
Is it Badgen or is it Herbert?
I don't think it's.
How did this game get picked for Sunday Night Football?
I have no idea, man. It's not going to get flex, so they said.
Why did this get picked?
It sounds like the thumb swelling was coming down, but it's still not sounding great. They're not going to do IR, but if it's teabag again, fucking, I don't know that offense works. Teabag, yeah,
that's fucking good. I like that.
That offense probably works against. It probably works again on the road, but
the Chargers are bottom what defense? 6. Like they're bad.
That was just a good play by Slay.
Yeah, it was. It was also
you
kind
don't
of
float. You can't
bit
float
of an
that
arm
that long.
on. No, didn't get it.
God, am I going to bet another Bears over?
You know what else? I already teased it. Seattle
24.
at 2.5 is a bet against Cleveland. I know that there's questions swirling about Watson, but Watson or Walker on the road in Seattle. One like mega one-dimensional team that's down to now Hunt because Jerome Ford went down, right? So they literally are like your offense is direct snapping to Kareem Hunt, basically. Like this is a problem.
It sucks for Cooper.
Yeah, it does. He's a
good player.
Yeah,
and he's
it sucks
in a
for him.
bad situation.
Yeah, I think Seattle probably wins that game by margin. I like the 2.5 there a lot.
If you made me bet that, it might be Seattle first half. I didn't have the stomach for Seattle playing with the lead, man.
Yeah,
defense travels, but
dinks. Yeah, that's true.
How many points does Seattle need to score to cover the first half number?
10.
I don't know about that. Might not be that many.
You don't
Cleveland's
think?
Cleveland's offense versus a team that can tackle. So still back to the beginning. Such a weird game. I'd seen some nice performances at times from some players on the Colts defense. Nobody can tackle.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's save some for Wednesday.
Yeah, it's probably it. No, never, ever, ever, ever gonna think about betting the Jacksonville-Pittsburgh game until
you're
Wednesday,
out on that. Okay.
Until we get to Wednesday.
Yeah, let's look. We got a lot of
Miami
games.
is gonna be a fun one when that.
We got some outdoor games. We're gonna need some information on weather and stuff this week because it's that time of year.
Came into play a little today. We saw a couple field goals take the
total in the Meadowlands never really was under threat, and there was some bad missed field goals in that one. You know who did his part though is Josh McDaniels, who kicked a field goal down 21-3. Go get those points, buddy.
It made it a 15-point game. I did the math and I'm like, I guess, but I still can't stand by this. Like, I needed the points too. And I'm like, I guess I'll take the 3, but this is a very good job. So, all right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll announce the winner of the $100 Fanatics gift card to somebody who is subscribed to the channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Leave a comment on literally any of the shows. This one, the Wednesday show, the Thursday night show, any of these. This one works. Leave a comment underneath, and you're entered. I'll pick the best comment, and we'll give it to somebody at halftime tomorrow.
26 Eagles, go for it.
Dicey. I don't know about that, Jim.
I don't know about that. It's a long yard. They made it look so easy with the